for sure. Like, have they ever done a cleanse? Have they ever done a detox? I think doing a detox every year, more than once, it's so important,
Mm.
especially when you live in complex cities like this, exposed to so many toxins. You
Mm-hmm.
can live an alkaline lifestyle, vegan, whatever it may be that you want to call your lifestyle, but you still have to do a cleanse, a detox, meaning what? You
Mm.
know, doing some type of fasting, taking some type of herbs that are going to help you, some certain bitters that are going to help you clean your colon.
Mm.
So that type of healing is practice is very important. So I ask, yeah, how if you've ever done a detox before, you know, and if they have, how did that go for you? What did you do? What was
Mm.
recommended for your detox?
Greetings and welcome to the Art of Rising, where we are exploring transformation, leadership, and the rise of conscious visionaries shaping the world. I'm here with a super powerful brother. I met him at a gym. I was doing an ice plunge, and he helped to change my life and continues to do so. So please, brother, welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're living, what you're doing with yourself these days.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, Omziel. Thank you so much for the space. My name is Christian, but you guys can call me Kura. I am the founder of Kura Alkaline Wellness Shop. I currently right now live in Queens, New York. I was born and raised here. I was raised in a Colombian household. And these days, I've been helping people to connect with ancestral medicine. You know,
Mm.
I really believe that this is something that needs to be brought to the modern world and through transparency. So that's the work that I've been doing um, these days. And I've been given the platform and the opportunity to do this recently now at a store in Brooklyn. So I've been outreaching a lot of people through this way. So uh, completely blessed and gratitude to Nicholas Brooklyn store, where
Mm.
a lot of people come to learn more about this medicine and what we have to offer.
Yes, a huge shout out to Nicholas Brooklyn and Monique.
There you
All
go.
right. Yeah,
But
so
yeah, so
listen,
that was a
uh,
really nice event where we met. The cold plunge, a lot of people loving it, and hey, this is how we worked also at Nicholas Brooklyn too. We did a cold plunge and
that's
met a
right.
lot of people that way as well.
Yeah, it was super powerful, man. I had a great time. I always have a great time when I go to Nicholas. And Monique has an incredible institution, is what they call it there, because she's been there for so long and people know her. Like I had spoken to other brothers from Brooklyn, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Nicholas Brooklyn over there." They were like, "Oh yeah, man, I know that place. I've been go to that place." I was like, "What?" They go,
Yeah,
yeah, they do.
yeah,
She's been
yeah.
around. They've been around for like 50, 51 years. She said that she was celebrating.
Yes, correct. Yeah, brother.
So let's get right into it, brother. Tell us.
Thank
I
you,
know,
thank you.
of course, brother. Let's get right into it. I know that you do work with the Dr. Sebi's teachings and other healing practices as well. So perhaps you could tell me, how is it that you first got into this? What drew you towards it, and the philosophy, and how has it shaped your life?
Thank you, brother. That's a great question because really what it was about Dr. Sebi's teachings is really was just about a change of perspective, right? Of how we are looking at what we're consuming and how it can affect our physical health and also our mental health and spiritual health because it could carry through all those avenues. So the brand Kura Alkaline Wellness Shop works with herbs and recommends food that are would you would say yeah correlated with Dr. Sebi's teachings, meaning that it's herbs and food that isn't hybridized. So, and that's what alkaline is, right? In terms of with the herbs and the food, is that this food is at a pH level higher than 7.0, that on the alkaline side. And being it doesn't contain any starch, it's been around since the creation of time, and it assimilates very well with the body. And for me, I have seen just how different like my body feels, or just like even just my mental, just how I process certain things, just eating this way and using herbs that are, as I was saying, alkaline. It's a different type of approach to really get access of minerals, because these are plants and food that really just there's chemical affinity there. What Sebi would say, meaning that your body recognizes and assimilates what we're consuming. Now, um, for most of us, if we was to, like, right now, let's say, go online and look up what is this food that Sebi would recommend, we would see a very limited, like, list. Most people would say it would look pretty, like, restrictive for some. And from what I've learned, listening to his lectures, and is a lot of the food that Sebi would recommend in that list was more so dedicated, so it's more accessible for the North American to be able to find this type of food. But the list is much larger than what we're being presented, because essentially it's just all about consuming things that are from its origin, so from its native place. So there's a lot of fruits and vegetables that really we don't know about that come from Peru or Ecuador or other
Mm,
countries in the world that are native there, and that would essentially be as well alkaline, and that would add to the list. So it's just a blueprint, I like
mm,
to say. Like Sebi left a blueprint through some rigorous work. Actually, I would say people in nowadays, with creating a list like that, with the investment of time and money, because he worked with the lab to be able to come up with this
mm.
list. Most people would probably charge to have
Right.
access to this type
Yeah,
of
yeah.
list. Yeah, because lab testing in the States is not
Right.
cheap.
And then the clinical trials and like the time and the labor behind it. Like people would probably just give up after a while. They would be like, "This is not too."
Exactly. So a lot of his research there was trying to find out which fruits and vegetables have been here from the beginning of time, and if they contain starch, because that was a big indicator for him to know that there was some like man intervention in creating this vegetable.
Right. Mm.
Um,
Mm,
so yeah,
I would imagine you mentioned earlier that you were brought up in a Colombian household, and it sounds
yeah,
like the house I was brought up in. Like rice and beans. It's just, a staple, right?
correct.
Because
Yes,
I
hundred
don't think I
percent.
don't. Rice is not native. Like my ancestors are from the island of Puerto Rico, but I don't think rice is native to in
And not even
Colombia.
the
Yeah,
beans,
not
right?
even the
No,
beans,
yeah,
bro. Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, I
interesting.
know, I
So
know. They introduced these foods to us.
they introduced these foods to
Mhm,
us,
mhm.
as we can go back into history, right? As the European colonizers coming to the
Right?
Americas, and
Mhm, mhm.
through the process
Yeah,
of that
they
as
gave us, yeah,
well, changing our
yep,
food,
and the animals too, the pork, right?
and
Because
the
they bring the
animals
pigs
too,
over to this side,
and the
and the
cattle and
cattles and the
cows
cow.
and the
That's right.
chicken. Yeah, yeah. It's
Mm,
a lot of changes that I feel like a lot of this, when you talk to other people, sometimes you could get into certain endless debates,
mm, mm,
but
mm,
um,
mm, mm, mm,
it's really just,
mm,
I think it's a simpler approach. I think we just make it very
mm, mhm,
complex, but
mhm.
it's just like with Sebi's perspective is you're just trying to consume things that are native, because he wasn't even against, let's say, well, I mean he was, but essentially if you ate, let's say, bison meat or something
Mm-hmm.
like that, you know, that's an animal that's a wild
Mm-hmm.
animal. So that would still be considered eating or consuming
Interesting.
essentially alkaline, right?
Mhm. But
Yeah, because it's an animal that you can find in the
I'm
wild.
curious to, and thank you for that. I'm curious to know more about like when you were being brought up at home. Like, you know, I can
Yeah, I mean that
imagine
was
the
definitely
food,
the staple of the food, the
right?
rice, the beans, the
Mm-hmm.
chicken, the
Mm-hmm.
meat. For me, my journey wasn't one day out of another where I just totally like just stop eating all these type
Right.
of foods. It was actually very
Mm-hmm.
transitional. Um, First of the few things for me was just like, yeah, just being conscious of what you're consuming. Look at the ingredients of what you're eating, right? That's where it
That's where
started
it
for me.
started. You would start to think like, hey,
Yeah.
I better start taking care of myself or start paying attention to some of these things. And then was it like that for you?
Yes, I was actually fortunate not to step into this path because I had a illness or something happened that I needed to heal myself. Actually, it was just my interest. I was into fitness. I'm into fitness, and during that time, I was very into like just bodybuilding. Going to I came as a teenager, I was doing a lot of boxing sports, and yeah, in my early 20s, I was really into fitness, into the gym, and I just always wanted to eat what was the best for the body. I always was very interested in knowing what foods, what supplements, what things are the best for the body without causing any type of side effects, symptoms, nothing like that. Because I did start with the whey protein, eating 6 to 8 times a day. I did all of that, protein, protein, protein. So I come from that school of thought, that type of way of thinking. And I just started changing all of that when I started learning about how the livestock is being taken care here in
Mhm.
America, and just how inundated we are with toxins in our food supply. So,
Mhm.
that's where it began for me, and just understanding more of the, I guess, agricultural corruption that there
Right.
is in the country.
So
So,
could
yeah.
you tell us perhaps like a personal transformation that has happened either to yourself or to someone that you've worked with, in regards to like the eating and
I
lifestyle?
think I think for me personally, just thank God I've been healthy, no health conditions. So for me, I've been just thriving. I'm not just like surviving, right? I'm feeling great. Um, but what I have seen is the influence behind that, right? The decisions that you make of taking care of yourself and watching what you eat, and just, yeah, being a person who's active, likes to exercise. It's nice to see how other people pick up on that and also want to go down that path and are interested and come to you as someone who can be a mentor and guide them through that. So I have seen people, yeah, just cut out certain things in their diet, not to replicate what I'm doing, but it's just something that's working
Mm,
for them.
I like that.
And that's always been very, like, I get a lot of, I feel great about
Mm,
that. That makes me feel good when I influence and help people that way, whether it be
mm.
coworkers or my family, close friends. So yeah,
Okay.
like
That's good. That's good. What about what do you think is one of the most misunderstood things that you find people I could imagine a few.
well, yeah, I mean, I guess when you mean in the space of like eating alkaline or just alkaline healing or things
Yeah,
like that, or
things like that. Yes. I would imagine people would be
I,
like,
I,
I
I,
can't
I
eat like that." So
no, that's why I guess I was bringing up when people look at the list, it's just like that's
Mhm,
it,
mhm, yeah,
like, so I think the misconception is just that they think it's just limited to what's presented
mm,
online, but really no, it's a much larger
mm,
list.
mm,
There's a variety of other things that you can eat and add to your dish. It's just all about learning the origin of the food.
right.
When it comes down to that, you can see that you can add more color, add more flavor, add more
Yeah.
fruits and
And
yeah, and
and
other
I love
dishes.
what you said earlier about that transition that you made, as you went along, because people look at what I do, what I eat, and what worked for me, and they'd be like, "Oh man, I can't do that." And I tell them, I didn't just wake up one day and decide that I'm gonna be eating like this. It took time, and it took time for me to find out what is it that I liked too. Right? Because just because you try Chinese food and you don't like it doesn't mean that all Chinese food is bad, right? There's northern, southern, there's
Right.
Szechuan, there's like you have to try many different things so you find what you like.
You have to get a little bit involved too. So when you're curious and you actually do some research on your own, um, you know, watch a documentary, I don't know, read
Mm,
a book, do something like that, get involved. It hits differently when you just have someone just
mm,
telling you, because you're going through your own experience. That's your journey. You're there actually doing the
mm,
work. You're doing some research, looking up some
mm,
things. You find out some information. It resonates with you, and that's what helps the decision making, the click,
mm,
building the willpower, and with through that process of you doing that self
mm,
research, and it feels very
mm,
empowering because right, knowledge is power. So it feels very great to go and learn further. I mean, I love doing deep dives on a lot of
mhm,
things that
mhm.
help the human body work in its optimal function because I want to
Right.
know like why, like what is it doing to the
Right.
body,
That's
you know?
beautiful. I love it. I
So
love that. I love that too because I
yeah,
I've had other people tell me like, "Hey, Omar, why don't you, go get a certificate on some of these things you do?" And I'd be like, "Why? Why would I? If the information is already out there, I'm gonna pay, you know, $2,000 or more in travel to get that guy's certificate when, you know, if you look back in history, lots of these things already belong to our ancestors, and other cultures come in and they hijack it. They make it their own, and then they sell it back to us.
yeah. I mean, again, growing up in the Colombian household, I know two languages, so very fortunate for that, and that has helped for me to build that bridge in countries like Honduras, Colombia, Peru, and to work with communities there and learn more, right, about that. Because same likewise, I'm not in a position where I can show you a
Right.
paper trail, right? It's all through my experience
Which is
and yeah, hands on,
worth
right?
more.
And through the
Mhm.
travels and just yeah, living the lifestyle most of
Mhm.
all, right? Consuming the herbs and also taking what you're working with, the products that I'm working with, and just seeing how close friends or family when they need help and you're there for their aid and seeing how they
Right.
respond and it's
Right.
it's 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 very very
Yeah.
pleasing, very feel very grateful
For
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 that.
me, when I started, getting clear of some of the garbage and taking much better care of myself, and then I just started learning more things, and then I had to like relearn all of these things that I thought that I knew, and then the subject of the alkaline came up, right? Because I'm a breathwork practitioner and a cold exposure enthusiast, right? So I help people with this, but it's best that I know what I'm talking about when I'm trying to help someone, especially on a deep level, when they come with rheumatoid arthritis, pain management and other things too, that might not be compatible with cold exposure too. Like, oh, I got a weak heart. I'll be like,
Mm,
you got a weak heart?
mm,
Just go in the water. No, it's not like that. It's like, no, you do,
okay.
be careful and let's not do that. Consult your doctor. You see what I'm saying? So I started learning many more things. And then Dr. Sebi came up, and then, his monumental court case that he won, which is quite remarkable, like, and then I started learning about more people that were involved in that community. And then it seemed almost like at some point where it was almost a cultish, like the word I look for is a Puritans, where some people say, "Oh, it's like this. It's not like that. It's got to be like this. You can't do that." Like, and I was like, "What? Yeah, listen, take it easy," And so, yeah, what are some of your thoughts on that, man?
um I think sir, it just, yeah, I see how, like in many like I guess movements, right, whether it be the vegan movement or maybe vegetarian or things like that. Now there's like, oh, some people might see it like, wait, there's something else, alkaline diet, like what's this, like what did they just make up now, you know? And then now people are just like following this and all this stuff. um I think again, it's like the healing journey, right? Like, you know, it's not linear, right? You are making progress, but there are certain times where you're just like, hey, like, you know, you may eat this food or may eat something that at the moment, yeah, it doesn't align with, but it's not to say you're not living the lifestyle or not practicing it, right? Or that you, it's more about what I've always tell people is just being just consciously, just being a conscious consumer of what, whether it be food or anything, right? Where we always
Mm,
talk about for your mental, spiritual.
mm,
But in that area, yeah, I guess certain people can be a certain very rigid, right, on it,
mm,
and no hit on that. But it's all about being very loving with others, because if this is something doing great for you and you feel great inside, then you're gonna be very, you know, feeling like you want to help others as well. You're not gonna really much. I think what it makes you feel conscious sometimes is when if there's judgment being
mm,
cast, right? Like, you know, being said things that are um, not inviting for the other
mm,
person. And from stories that I've heard in Honduras, from people that have worked in the Usha village, they have said Sebi as a person doesn't, even with his employees, just because he's all about the alkaline and everything doesn't mean that his employees had to eat that way when they were staying there, or if he was buying them lunch, if he was treating them, it didn't mean that he was going to treat them with only alkaline. No, whatever they
mm,
wanted, you know,
mm,
they wanted their
mm.
Coca-Cola, here's your
Right.
Coca-Cola, like, you know. And I think through that way, when I heard stories like that, and I was like, wow, so I mean, really, like, keep learning from
Right.
this man. You
Right.
know, just from now I'm learning. It's pretty special because now I'm learning about him not just through his lectures and what's on
Mm,
YouTube, but just through the community, right, where people know about him in La
mm,
Ceiba, and people that actually worked at the Usha
mm,
village.
mm,
So
mm.
um, yeah, it also made me think of like when I'm teaching other people about this lifestyle and everything. Yeah, it's not for them to replicate it the same way, but make it transitional that way, because through that process, through that journey, however their mind state was at the beginning, it's not going to be the same 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months down the line after they've been doing some
Right.
cleansing. They're gonna actually gonna look back and realize, like, I can't believe I used to think
Right.
this way,
Right.
or consider to have this for breakfast. I will never do that
Right.
again.
Right.
Like, you know, people shift and change, so it's not to shove it
Right.
down. People
Right.
still always like, oh, it has to be this way, or come do it like that. If you're gonna start, then it's all in or
Right.
nothing.
Right.
Like, you
Right.
know, that
I
that
love that.
approach, it's not as inviting for others to
Mm,
learn and want to
mm.
see what this type of food can offer for
Right.
you, right?
You know, it speaks to the legacy that the man left. It really speaks to that. He left such a powerful, strong impact, right? Because you could imagine, like, some of these things that he was speaking about, he didn't invent those things. You know, he learned about them, and the planet has been here like for a long time. And so have us as a
That's a great point,
species, you
Omar.
know?
Yeah, that's a great point, Omar. That, I mean, he would that was the thing. Going to these uh, communities where there's indigenous people and asking, hey, what works for you guys here? What herbs have you guys been using? You know, or what does it do? And likewise, learning like that, because he was someone that as
Mm,
well didn't go to
mm,
school. And since you brought that court case up, that was actually something that I forgot to bring up in the beginning when you asked me about, following his teachings and things like that. I spoke most on, how it resonated with me, his perspective, and how it makes sense. But then now, with proof of the results of his court case, also shows that what he was doing uh, works and was healing a lot of
mm.
people, and he beat the case, defending
Yeah.
himself,
Yeah, with proof.
and very
Yeah,
powerful
proof.
with proof
Right.
as well.
Yeah,
overstanding proof,
because
like overwhelming
because you
proof.
could
Yeah,
have a good lawyer. I mean, you already know there's major court cases. Like we know the guy did the crime, but he had great lawyers and he got off. But this wasn't the case. He brought
exactly,
like proof
exactly.
and people, like documents from
People.
just
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really so again, like I believe it's just that legacy that he left. It was so large, impactful, and then the way he transitioned to the next life was under some questionable nefarious events. It's possible I wasn't there,
yeah.
so that's why I don't like to speak
Me
about,
either.
right, I don't like to speak about things
Yeah,
I don't
me
know.
either.
Anything could have anything,
Yeah.
look, I never met the man physically in my life either, you see.
It's just, there's so many stories.
Mm.
I guess the one thing that I guess stands out is just when there's money, right? When there's so much money, and then you don't know about your
Yeah,
circle or just other greater powers, right?
yeah,
So it's just, yeah, all that we could just say is
yeah.
unfortunate.
Uh,
And he left a
he
great
great
legacy,
legacy.
left a great
Mm-hmm.
blueprint. Back to that
Mm-hmm.
blueprint of the
Mm-hmm.
food. Um, it's in its baby steps. Okay, so right now I would love at some point be able to expand this list and show that, because it's open to basically anyone who's wants to step
Right.
forward and would want to show more of what expand this list. That's really where I think the focus should be as a
Mm-hmm.
community, so people can know more of what foods are
Yeah,
healing.
that
um,
happens oftentimes when because when there's finances, monetary gain involved, along with that comes power too. So it seems like almost there was a vacuum there. It was so sudden that people were like, "Oh no, well I'll just keep doing it," and then somebody else came up and went, "No, I feel that I'm the one that's supposed," and it started that whole thing. I mean, that has happened, like it makes me think of in ancient Kemet, modern day Egypt, Ramses the Great. First of all, he lived for so many years. He had many, many children. And then when he passed on, it was that vacuum, the power where
mm,
now there was infighting and all that. It was, yeah, that happened.
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
that happens. But but
yeah.
but let's focus on this. When you first meet somebody and you speak with them and they're like, yeah, I like to get into it, or I'm having these issues or whatever, or I like to learn more. What is it that you tell them, Kura? Like, where can they start? What do you recommend?
Well, for sure. First, I'm asking them, like, what are they dealing with, or what is their day by day. Sometimes it's not so much how they're consuming, what they're consuming, but it's just they're not getting enough sleep, maybe not
Mm,
getting enough water. Just certain things that can just fixing that can change a whole different amount of illnesses that the person is dealing with, right? Just with regulating their sleep, getting their circadian rhythm back on
mm,
check, on point.
interesting.
So I tap into that first, and then for sure, like, have they ever done a cleanse? Have they ever done a detox? I think doing a detox every year, more than once, it's so important,
Mm,
especially when you live in complex cities like this, exposed to so many toxins. You
hmm
can live an alkaline lifestyle, vegan, whatever it may be that you want to call your lifestyle, but you still have to do a cleanse, a detox, meaning what?
mm,
Doing some type of fasting, taking some type of herbs that are going to help you, some certain bitters that are going to help you clean your colon.
mm,
So that type of healing is practice is very important. So I ask, yeah, how, if you've ever done a detox before,
mm,
and if they have, how did that go for you? What did you do? What was
mm.
recommended for your detox?
And if they
And then
haven't,
if they haven't, then yeah, I recommend, I guide them through things that they can do. Right, a liquid fast usually, or a raw fast is usually something that someone can jump into, has never done any type of fasting. So raw fast meaning fruits, salads, nuts, right?
mm,
So doing something like that, just not eating cooked foods. Preserving all the enzymes in your food to help
mm.
you digest your food.
Excuse me.
And then incorporating algae, right? A very powerful aquatic herb, the sea moss. Our food supply is so depleted from minerals, some essential minerals. The body's made of minerals, and having a food supply depleted of minerals, uh, agriculture system that's also the soil is close to dirt, close to a sand. So
Close to
there's no,
sand. Yeah,
yeah,
over
there's no
over
so much use of these
farming.
glyphosate and all these other
Glyphosate.
herbicides and
Yeah. Oh,
pesticides. And so when we're in a situation like that here in America,
mhm.
um, yeah, you got to turn to certain herbs and plants that can
Mm.
give you this missing element, right?
Right, right.
So
Mm, mm.
wow, what more powerful than an aquatic herb, a plant that grows in the water, algae
Right.
grows off rocks.
That was the first thing that I learned from Dr. Sebi.
That
I don't know
CMOS got
how.
famous off of Sebi,
Yeah,
to be honest.
exactly.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know how exactly it came up, or the day, or who said what, but I know it was just introduced to me about this thing, and then how it was beneficial for my gut, and for
yeah,
other things as well. And then I started to learn more about it, and then I started to learn to be careful, because there's a lot of trickery in just like anything that they sell on the market, especially things that get popular, right?
that it gets
When
exploited, right? That it
when they
gets
started with
popular,
the soy,
trendy.
oh, soy is so good for you, and then we find out it's not like that, and many things are like that. But the sea moss in particular, I had learned that they were factory growing it, and having these machines with the water moving to simulate the rhythms of the ocean, and like just terrible things.
Yeah. No, yeah. I have heard of this as well. I've never seen one myself, but I've heard of this.
Mm-hmm.
And also the aquatic farming as well. The other method of
Aquatic
like
farming.
rope growing as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's another
Right.
method that's
Yeah.
very very
Mhm.
common, and probably is the method that dominates the CMOS market. Truthfully,
Right. Right.
it's
Right.
really hard to find rock grown CMOS. When I heard about CMOS was yes through Sebi, and
Mm-mm.
in my first beginning journey of finding CMOS, it was mostly
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
farm grown, farm rope grown.
I have purchased the sea moss. It say it's wild sea moss. It's harvested off the coast of Jamaica. Um,
Okay.
and I had shared it with you, the one that I was taking. You were like, "Yeah, yeah,
Oh
you
yes,
you'll be good
yes.
with that. You'll be good." And but then you happened to give me some at the Purple Sage Festival. And
Well,
Kura, after a little bit of technical difficulties, we're back. But I love the conversation, man. You have me hypnotized with all the information that you have. And I also wanted to mention that as we were speaking about the sea moss, I had picked up some sea moss from you at the Purple Sage Festival. And I did not mention that in the beginning of the show. We are having the Purple Sage Festival again this Sunday, September the 21st. It is the autumn equinox, which has to do everything with harvesting and planting, and preparing for the fall now coming in. So the sea moss that you did bless me with was quite remarkable. I've never had that sea moss before, bro, but I really felt the difference. Now, perhaps you could tell me quickly about what is the difference between perhaps the one that I got, or the difference between the sea moss.
yeah, good question, Omar. Thank you. And I'm glad that you enjoyed the CMOS. And yes, the 21st is Sunday. We got the Purple Sage Festival, and I will be as well there participating and attending,
Yes, yes, yes.
doing the vibes and with the whole community. So I'm back to be there for a second round.
Oh,
Um,
excellent.
there is a few differences. One straightforward difference is that one is a warm water algae, the one that you usually purchase, and then the other was a cold water algae. So they form different gels. One forms a gel of carrageenan, that would be the Conjus crispus, the purple Conjus crispus that you got, and then the other, the Gracilaria, forms an agar type of gel. It's a very different consistency. So both of them are very enriched in minerals, but they work a little different in the body. That one can aid, like the gracilarium, the warm water algae, Caribbean algae, can help with purifying the body, cleaning it of its of any impurities, detoxing it. And then the Conjus crispus, the carrageenan algae, can help cellular regeneration, cellular repair.
Mm.
So it helps with repairing the body, and as well, since Chondrus crispus is an algae that can hold a lot of water, it hydrates the body intercellularly as well.
Mm. And
Great.
that was the you said the what's the name of it again? Crispus?
Chondrus crispus,
Conscious Crispus. That the one that you
that's the one that
gave
you
me? Okay.
want, correct?
Right. Yeah, that was it even tasted different. I enjoyed it. That's why I've been after you to get some more,
Yeah,
bro.
that's my preference too. I like that gel a lot. But
Mm,
and now I just recently stocked with the Honduran moss.
mm,
The one also that Sebi used a lot in his the Usha Foundation. So
mm.
uh, this is your agar gel. This would be also agar, so it helps a lot with detoxifying the body, but as well high in calcium, iron, magnesium, zinc. You name it, sulfur,
Mm.
copper, a lot of
Yeah.
essential minerals that we need for daily functions of the body.
That's great. So you'll be bringing this to the Purple Sage Festival on Sunday?
Purple sage, and I will be bringing samples too, so people can try the different gels and see, yeah, the difference of the consistencies.
Okay, so look, let's get right into the stingless bee honey because I know you're going to be bringing this also. Let's hear it all, man. For those who have never heard about the stingless bee honey, let us know the uniqueness compared to traditional honey. And also, was Dr. Sebi speaking about this? And, the alkaline lifestyle, or yeah, go ahead. You tell me.
Yeah, and like, well, to answer the last question with Sebi, yeah, two of his lectures, you can see he mentions using this honey to help people who have lost their vision, actually, or any type of eye ailments. He has used the honey to um, give some ocular support in that way. But yeah, the world of the stingless bees is a whole other world. Like something that I did have no idea that existed until about like 3 years ago, and to learn also that in my culture in Colombia, they also use this honey to treat for cataracts, and that's what it's mostly known for in Colombia. But you start learning that it does furthermore than just the ocular health. And to start off, the tribe of these bees are called Meliponini. Okay, so the Meliponini tribe are the type of bees that don't have stingers. Now there's over 100 or 200. I'm not really sure that they're always finding new different type of genuses of stingless bees. So there's definitely a lot of different ones. So not from all of them are we sourcing their honey for use for the eyes. Some of them have different practices and habits that their honey is not you can it's not safe to use for the eyes because the bees have habits of messing around with feces or dead carcasses, and that type of bacteria makes it back to the hive. So that's the type of honey that you're not going to use for the eyes. So not all stingless bee honey is safe for the eyes, just to put that out there.
Okay.
And I was going to make another point, just slipped my mind. But yeah, it's very medicinal. It's I, when we think of honey, we think of something sweet, something that tastes great. This honey has an amazing taste, but besides it tasting great and being sweet, it really is more than just honey. It's very medicinal with all the properties that it contains. First of all, again, starting off with these bees. These bees are native to the region that they habitat. Okay.
Mm,
Why do I say that? Because the Apis mellifera, the European bee, the one that's commonly known, the honeybee, is a bee that's not native to these regions, not even here in North America. Uh,
Mm.
Most of the bees that pollinated this region is solitary bees. So in Colombia or in South America, they have bought these Apis mellifera's bees from Europe through Africa to the Americas, and these bees are very adaptable. The Apis mellifera, and they work very different. They make their honeycombs, the way they store their honey. You can harvest their honey about almost once a month. Every so often they yield much more honey than your regular stingless bees. They are mostly pollinators. That's what I wanted to mention. They're mostly
Mm.
pollinators. They don't work on nectar. So being that these bees are native, they pollinate a lot of native flowers. They pollinate a lot of native plants. Going back to what we were talking about with right alkaline, well, these
Mm-hmm.
bees actually pollinate a lot of herbs that are originated from the land, whether it be in Colombia, Ecuador, or Mexico. So high medicinal properties in this honey. Uh, the phenolic compounds that are in this nectar, right? It's kind of like the secretion of the immunodefense system of the plant.
Mm.
So you have those immunodefense compounds in the nectar. So now the bees traveling with this nectar back to the hive and storing it in a resin pot. Okay, very different from your regular honeybee. They store it in these pots that is mixed with wax that they produce and with resin and propolis. It's something that they forage in the wild from tree sap or plants. So again, also tree sap and this resin also contains immunodefense phenolic compounds. So when the honey is sitting in these pots that are made with these properties, uh, it's also some of those properties also steeping into the honey as the honey goes through a fermentation process because it's harvested every 6 to 8 months,
Mm.
so once to twice a year. It's seasonal, and um, yeah, it's seasonal, harvested once or twice a year, and since the honey naturally contains more moisture, so it just builds like the perfect environment for the honey to start fermenting. So essentially, the honey itself is not alkaline because it's actually below the pH balance of 7.0. It
Mm.
actually between 3.8 and 4.2, depending on the species or the region of where this honey is sourced. Uh, but
Mm.
I, it's like those fermented products that when you consume, the body alkalizes these substances, and through this acidity is how the benefits or the properties from the resin pot are able to steep into the honey, and then the compounds that are in the honey are also being broken down through this fermentation process and making them more bioavailable.
Mm.
The body doesn't have to really work too much in terms of absorbing iron, absorbing zinc, absorbing these compounds that are in the honey. Just quickly assimilates, quickly absorbed by the body. And
Mm.
what's beautiful is that you're applying this through the eyes.
Mm.
So
Mm.
not too many products or medicine can you apply that way that comes from nature with no man intervention that
Mm.
aid with so many like a high profile of minerals and compounds that can aid the body, help the nervous system, help the brain, and support eye health.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I know you helped me out with some in the past, and I could tell you from the first time I used it, my vision cleared up so much, and I feel that it has helped me. I still use my glasses occasionally, especially when I'm using the laptop and I get these small letters and things of that nature. But it has helped me, and I can see that you're doing some tremendous, tremendous work over there at Nicholas, Brooklyn. And I'm so glad that you made that deeper connection. I was able to introduce you to her, and you're
Yeah.
doing some great things there. So, I'm going to need at least 10% of every sale that you make, my friend.
Oh, wow, you're great.
I was going to say 15, but I'll just take 10. Okay.
Thank thank you. For that. I appreciate
Just
that.
kidding. Oh my God. We're here to help one another. And I can see
The
that you're
whole
helping the community there.
It's a whole other community, another way of outreaching. Really, what my main goal after discovering the honey was spreading the experience. So
Mm,
at the location, yes, we offer free application, so people can see how this feels for the first time. Not so often are you able to get this experience, and I'm trying to learn more of how the Mayans would use it because there is information that they would use it to treat eye disease, but I'm pretty sure it was also used in other spiritual practices, right?
mm,
There is a sense of connection there when someone is administering the drops. There is a moment there, and you are trusting the person, and yeah. So it's been great at the
mm,
store to
mm.
educate most of all.
Right.
I've never heard of this, right?
Right. Right.
And they didn't
Right.
know these existed. So it's also giving light to a species that's also going extinct. And we all understand, or most of us need to understand, the importance of the existence of these bees, or all
Right.
bees,
Yep.
right? So
Hmm.
save the bees means all the bees, not just the
Right.
bees, also the stingless bees.
Yeah.
Now, it's giving light to these unseen stingless bees.
Yeah. I did see this thing where it was in China that they were pollinating the flowers by hand. Why? Because the bees numbers had dropped so low. And I was like, man, if that's not scary, man, I mean, really, humans are,
Yeah, that is concerning.
yep. Mm-hmm.
Diversity in our agriculture system, the whole monocultural approach affects this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the bees need variety, and the usage of, again, going back to the herbicides, the pesticides, the
Right.
glyphosate.
Yep.
Um, they keep trying to engineer different type of seeds that can withstand all these different type of chemicals. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe like 10 to 15 years ago, you had a GMC, a genetically modified seed that can just withhold and still live if you sprayed it with glyphosate. Now you have seeds that are trying to be produced that can withstand 5 different type of herbicides,
Mm.
not just glyphosate. So the technology just keeps, I guess you could say, quote unquote, improving, but it's just, yeah, it's demanding more for the use of chemicals, and the byproduct of that is super weeds, right? Areas that you
Mm-hmm.
can't use to
Mm-hmm.
the farm, the super bugs as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's these insects that are just being resistant to
Yep.
uh,
Yeah.
the chemicals,
Yeah.
and they're a lot
Yep.
of trouble,
That yeah,
causing a lot of trouble.
this is humans with they're just playing around, and it's terrible. We're in a bad state, but that's why we have to do what we can, and especially with the bees. I think many people know about people who deal with bees live a more longer lifespan, and more energetic also.
Yeah.
Um,
My first experience of going to a stingless bee farm was a farm that had both types. They had Apis mellifera, and they also had some stingless bees. And yeah, these were an older couple. And yeah, you could. It was just the energy that they radiate, the
yeah. Mm,
space. Like, I was there for a good 4 or 5 days, and it was
yeah.
remarkable. I always tell them, like, listen, the energy of your space, and it's
Right.
so so
Yeah.
good. Like, so it was amazing, and
Wow.
they contributed to the frequency that these bees emit, that can help with the extension, the lifespan of someone's. Yeah.
Right, right. And I was learning that they don't really fly. They don't they don't
Right.
fly. They don't fly because something about the wings are not strong enough to carry their bodies. So they work on this vibrational
Right.
frequency of vibration. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy, bro.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty interesting. I mean, again, as when I get to travel, I have the privilege to travel and go to source all this medicine, whether it be algae or the honey, it's a beautiful process, to see the work of the bees and how much time you don't think about it, but 2 seasons pass by, 6 to 8 months before you harvest that honey. Like, God, it's
Ah,
like it's precious,
right.
and again, the same with the sea moss too. I mean, it's not seeds, right? It's spores. It's spores that are released from certain algae that then it reaches
Incredible.
the rocks, and it's seasonal. It's not around all year, or if it is, sometimes the visibility of the ocean doesn't allow you to make it accessible to harvest.
Mm,
I've experienced that last year in Honduras, where just the tide was too high, rough, picked up a lot of the sand, and you
right.
can't really see to harvest. So uh,
Mm,
it again, it just goes to just it being only accessible around a certain amount of time, and you're seeing the work and the energy that it takes to be able to source this kind of medicine and how it
right.
can.
I did want to make a clarification. I was looking up and they were saying that bees do fly. They do, but they use their flexible wings to create these vortexes like mini hurricanes,
Okay.
of low pressure, generating sufficient lift through rapid, complex wing rotations and flips of a mechanism not accounted for by older static aerodynamic models. So they do fly, but unlike we would imagine, like wings and birds and those type of things. But we're coming up on the time. I didn't want to go too long on it, but um,
I'm glad that I was able to at least break down a bit with the honey. There's a lot, so much that I could get into with the honey or the sea moss or the herbs.
okay. Well, maybe we could have you back after the purple sage. We'll have you back in again, and we'll talk about the whole experience, and you can share
Yes,
some more about the bees and this wonderful company that you've started, Kura Alkaline
wellness shop.
Wellness Shop. Yeah.
Thank you.
So the last question is, what is the legacy that you hope to leave through your work and healing, with everything, the bees, the herbs, you know.
The main thing that I can say that I would want my legacy to be is that I help people heal, that um, bring people closer to nature, get them to recognize the power of nature, and basically that I was just able to inspire people through my work or my lifestyle and just through my education. Um, that I was, yeah, someone that people can come to. The legacy that I want to leave behind is someone that I can come to for help, right?
Mm,
with,
mm,
with health issues, and that I was always someone that was there for you through the process,
mm,
and yeah, just bringing that gap, that bridge from the modern world with ancestral healing,
mm.
bridge the gap right there.
Okay, okay. That's beautiful. I appreciate that, man. It's so powerful, especially when it comes to health, because that's what we need most of all. Some people be like, "Oh, if I just had the money." Yeah, but if you don't have your health, then
Yeah,
you
I want people to believe in their own power, walk in the path of truth, health, and freedom. Because that, like you said, yeah, you can have all the money, but if you don't have your health, so
right. Well, people will find you at the Purple Sage Festival, which is taking place at the Stone Mountain Farm. It's in Newport, New York, which is about an hour and a half to 2 hours from our area. It's from 12 noon to 9, and it's happening this Sunday, September the 21st, the autumn equinox. Um, and yeah, I know that they'll be able to see you. They'll get to experience the stingless bee honey, as well as the samples that you have for the herbs and the bitters and the sea moss and all that. Yes.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We will see everyone there on Sunday.
Yeah.
You can also reach me at my Instagram, Kura Alkaline. That's also the TikTok. So for sure. And if you are in Brooklyn by any chance, definitely stop by Nicholas Brooklyn. We're there, definitely educating and giving the drop. So thank you, Omar, again for this opportunity.
Of
Again,
course.
awareness to this ancestral healing.
Yes, of course. I appreciate you too. And by the way, Nicholas Brooklyn is at 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn. Just look them up. You'll see they're easy accessible by train and bus and all that. And you can experience Kura and all of his knowledge as well. So
Thank
that's
you.
it. Thank you so much too. Thank you for tuning in, family. I appreciate you and see you soon. Peace.